What's going on, people? Welcome to the Blue Steel Podcast Show. I am your co-host LV Live, along with my co-host Jeff. Please, if you can, hit that like, share, subscribe button. Also, too, if you can, hit that notification, that bell icon to get notified for our up and coming shows coming up. It's our usual quick hitter that we do usually have. Jeff, what's going on, man?
Not much, man.
Pretty
Getting
good.
hot, but I'm good. How you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. It's hot. It's blazing. But I'll tell you who's not doing pretty good, and that's the Bucks. Man, listen, man. Look, I think the series is over. They got blown out by 40 last night. I mean, they just look, especially without James Harden, they just look like they cannot check. They can't check those guys at all. What say you, sir?
Man, that was terrible. Yeah, there's nothing else for me to be said. It's definitely over. This is without Harden. So I thought this would be a decent series going into it. Golly. Yeah, Milwaukee got to make some wholesale changes, man. I think personally, coach is gone. I think you got to move on from Middleton. You got to just start over. This is not going to work. It's not going to work. So, Middleton's supposed to be your second best player. 6 for 23? That's terrible. So that ain't going to work. And he never shows up in the playoffs. So you know what he is.
Hey, I totally agree with you. Hey, man, look, my biggest takeaway from this, look at the Greek Freak. I mean, he's the MVP. How? What way? There's no way. KD proved last night he's the best player still on this planet. There's a couple of guys that are right there close to him, but when he wants, he could do what he wants on the basketball court. There's no one that can stop him at 6'11", 7 feet, the way he can handle the pill, the way he can shoot. KD proved last night that I'm still that dude. Period. At the end of the day, there's nobody that can stop me one-on-one. I could do what I want. We know Kyrie is Kyrie. We know that. But, I was really looking forward to seeing the Greek Freak check him, see how he could D him up, see if he could lock him up. Oh, man, the way he was crossing him up last night, he had him looking silly. And then on top of that, Jeff, oh, man, it looked crazy. And then, Jeff, on top of that, the defense has no respect for the Greek Freak's offensive skill set. They just are dropping back in the paint at the foul line saying, beat us, shoot a jump shot. He has no jump shot. He's so limited offensively. I mean, he's proven exactly what a lot of people have been saying. A lot of people have been doubting his skills as of late. And it's pretty much showing. Like I told you before, same thing I said in the other show about Julius Randle. The playoffs tell you everything. All right. The regular season, you're going to have a lot of bad teams. You're going to have a lot of nights where those numbers are inflated. Right, Jeff? But then when you get to the playoffs and you get to the legit teams and they lock in defensively, then it shows what type of player you are. Because once again, remember, you're playing this team 4 times out of 7 or 7 straight games. So now it's really like it's no wrinkle. You know what's coming. You know what they're doing. So it's really like, okay, you run the same sets. Everyone's running the same sets, Jeff. So it's pretty much really one-on-one basketball. Who's better than who? And the Nets have a better squad. I mean, the one guy who I like that they have, Jeff, I don't know if you've known him. I've never seen him before. I mean, I've seen him during the season, but prior to this, the guy Bruce Brown coming off the bench. I mean, he's a solid contributor. He filled in for Harden last night. And then also they have Joe Harris. I never heard of this guy prior to this year. I mean, they still got Spencer Dinwiddie. He's out with ACL, so he'll be back next year. I mean, they're loaded, Jeff. I didn't realize they got these type of players on that team.
Yeah, they did a good job of building a roster. You remember they had a decent little run. I don't remember. They might have lost in the first round, but they had a good run in the playoffs 2 years ago, which shows some of those guys, some of the people they traded for Harden also. But Brooklyn got a squad, and he's just a monster, man. He's probably the most efficient offensive player ever in NBA history. Because you can't do anything, like nothing. I don't care how good of a deep. He's too tall, handles the ball too well, can score anywhere he wants, go where he wants, does what he wants offensively. You can't really do nothing about it. So, yeah, man, Milwaukee, good done. I was just very disappointed. I was looking forward to this series, but.
Yeah, I was too. Hey, man, I just think the biggest part of this, man, I mean, you mentioned Middleton, but it's the Greek Freak, man. I mean, he's the MVP of the league the last couple of times, and he's just really shown like how limited he is. He looks just as bad as Julius Randle. Look, I'm just being honest with you. I am. I mean, they're dropping back in the paint, Jeff. That's the total disrespect. That's just saying, man, we know you have no jumper. We know if you're not dribbling pretty much in a fast break or going one-on-one, in and out dribble, you're not going anywhere. Like, and so I just was like, excuse my language, like, damn, dude, that's how limited your game is?
Yep. That's it. I mean, that's
right. That's right. So now you have to reevaluate, you know what I mean? And reevaluate him and reevaluate that team, like you said.
But they're not going to trade him. So that's why I said Middleton they need a whole new squad.
Yeah, they got to blow it up. They got to blow it up. You're right, Jeff. But hey, Jeff, man, hey, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, man. They got to blow that thing up. You actually nailed it. But hey, man, also too, man, going out east out in Philly for me. Hey, man, are the Hawks for real or what?
So
hey, look, I was sleeping on them. You know what I mean? You said it, Jeff. You texted me that night.
I didn't.
You said, D. You said, look, you guys might win this series, which we wound up losing. You said, but they got problems with their guards. You said they can't guard their guards. And it looks like Philly's having the same problem we have, Jeff.
Yeah, they got some dudes on their squad, man. Dang, I'm not going to Bogdanovic, yo, I like him. That dude, and he's talking junk. He's like, just give me the rock. They got a nice squad. And Trae Young, man, of all the people, and I always thought that stuff for Murray last year was fake. I don't think he's good as he showed in the playoffs. He's not. But Trae Young, he's balling, dude. And he's getting shit. He's really showing that trade ain't as lopsided as people think. People love Luka. He's a baller. But Trae Young is not to be slept on, man. Like, that dude is showing out right now. Like you said, playoffs. Now, it's a counter tonight, man. Doc is he gets stuck in his ways. That's how he's hurt him as a coach to me, man. You got to shorten that rotation up. You can't be playing 11 players in the playoffs. It's too much. You got to do something with Trae. Put Trae on the block. Like, beat him up. He's little. Like, you got to do something. So we'll see, man. Philly, very disappointing, man. Embiid had a really good game, but the boy, man, can't shoot.
Yeah, once we get
3% from the line,
hey, listen, the same thing like Greek Freak, right? Same thing with Greek Freak. Where's Ben Simmons? Where's Ben Simmons? Same thing with these guys. Like, hey, listen, man, the playoffs expose who you are. Believe it or not, the playoff performances for a lot of guys who've had great seasons have gotten guys traded, Trev. You know that because teams realize, hey, listen, man, our goal is to win a championship, not to win the division. This is not college. Like, we don't care about that. Are you going to be able to get us over the hump to get us a championship? Can you do that? But your performance in the playoffs is going to get you traded. And I think with a guy like Ben Simmons, I can see that happening. Now, of course, people are going to say, no, that'll never happen. I will never be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks a year or two from now, if they continue to pretty much lose in the second round of the playoffs, they're going to see who's going to pick up that contract with the Greek Freak. Like, this is what's going to happen because guys are going to realize, hey, listen, man, these guys are not good enough to get us over the hump. Whereas someone like Trae Young, his stock is going to rise. Like, it's just going to get higher and higher and higher. And we might be looking at, shall I say, the second coming of Steph Curry with his performances and just the things that he does on the court. He's just, man, you can't keep him. You go, listen, you got to stay in front of him. They can't stay in front of him. You back up on him, he's shooting from the parking lot. I mean, oh, man, listen, they're rolling. They're rolling. And you were right when you said it, when you texted me that night. I didn't realize their guards were that good. I mean, they're really, really good.
They got a squad, man. Nate's done a fabulous job. He would have won Coach of the Year if he didn't obviously come in halfway through the year. But to me, at least, I think Monty Williams should have won it. But anyway, nah, man, the Hawks got a squad. Philly better win tonight.
Yeah, you got that right.
You might bring them brooms out, man, because they balling down in Atlanta.
That's right. And also, too, Jeff, absolutely. And also, too, Jeff, it's all about momentum, man. It's all about momentum. A lot of people had them losing to the Knicks. A lot of people did. A lot of people had them losing to the Knicks in 6 or 5 because the Knicks won the series during the season. So there's a thing that has to be said for momentum. and teams that feel like they kind of have like, they're playing for like themselves because they feel like a lot of people feel like we're going to lose. A lot of people feel like we're not good enough. So now we kind of have like this monkey on our back. Like, listen, man, we want to prove and show that we're better than what you guys think we are. And that's what the Hawks are playing with. You know what I mean? They're playing like with a little edge. Like they want to prove to everybody that we're better than what you guys think. So that should be exciting. But hey, man, also too, if you go out west, the Valley of the Suns, man, the Valley of the Suns, I'm telling you, they're dangerous in the West. Listen, I know a lot of people are going to pick Utah to come out, but the Suns have the same thing that the Hawks have. They have great guard play and guys that can shoot it. And that in this league today is like kryptonite for a lot of teams, man. If you got guys that can shoot it with a leader like Chris Paul, hey, listen, they're dangerous. Jeff, I have them, me personally, I have them coming out the West. What say you, sir?
They got a legit shot, sure, man. This Clippers-Utah series is interesting. I know that first game is tonight. We'll see. I don't know anybody to believe in the Clippers yet. They won. They beat Dallas. Nobody's playing no defense in that series. And it'll be interesting. They could definitely. I don't think Denver will. I think Phoenix will probably beat Denver. Should. It'll be interesting to see who comes out as far as the matchup. So I wouldn't put them in the finals yet, but they definitely have a shot. I think that Utah. And for whatever reason in my head, I think that they have a better shot against the Clippers than Utah for some reason. I think they play similar, and I think Utah is better than Phoenix in what they do. You know what I mean? Like, they both have Mitchell and Booker, young superstars. I don't know if Booker's a superstar yet, but a star at least. Mitchell definitely is on that level at this point. And good veteran point guards, shooters. I just think Utah shooters are better. We'll see how they do this to Clippers. Theoretically, should be a better defensive team. They ain't showed in the Dallas series, but they should be.
Well, Utah, I agree with that. I can see where you see that, but Utah has a lot of veteran experience there. They have some guys there who play a little bit longer in the league, whereas on the Suns, it's pretty much all a bunch of young guys except for Chris Paul, right? So I could see that with Utah. Utah's really solid, man, from top to bottom. They just are. So, I mean, they're going to be tough to beat. I see the game. I see them possibly going 7 with the Suns. I think they're going to take care of our Clippers easy, man. The Clippers have no leadership.
Easy work.
Yeah, it's easy. They have no leadership. They have no leadership. They have nobody to really, kind of lead that team. I
believe in playoff P.
Yeah, he's actually been playing well, man. But I don't know. I think he's been feeling. I don't think he's going to go much further than this. I think Kawhi, I don't know, man. He seems a little off this playoffs. I mean, he played well.
That's how he always been, man. Like, Kawhi to me, man, is what is the word? I thought of something a few days ago. He just takes advantage of really good situations. There's a better word for that.
Right.
I mean, look at the Spurs. He wasn't the leader.
Right. Well, the Spurs were a perfect place for him. Like, perfect.
Right. Because he doesn't need to be a vocal leader. And they still had Duncan and Parker and Manu, so he just went and did his thing. That was it. Toronto, we all know why they won that. Golden State was injured. That's simple as that. If KD or Clay play, they don't win that.
But the same thing. But the same thing to your point with Toronto, he didn't have to be because you had Kyle Lowry.
He's not yet, right? He's go out deep and do his thing. He's not a leader, Just because you're the leading scorer doesn't mean you're a leader. A leader's different. So you're right. They don't have no leadership. Rondo, he's been there 6 months. So Paul George, nobody, he ain't want to win last year. So why would I follow him? So you're right. I for some reason I think if I had to bet, I think I'd do like a little bit lean into the Clippers. I don't want them to win. I like Utah. It'd be nice to see Utah get there and even beat them in Phoenix. It'd be nice. For some reason I'm thinking the Clippers gonna give them a pretty good series, but I hope you're right. I don't like the Clippers anyway. They can sit at home like the Lakers.
Of course, I'm from a Laker guy. I'm not surprised. But we're pretty much getting to the end of our show. People, once again, thank you for coming by and supporting us. But one thing we're going to wrap up right here is the big news, of course, that came from the Shield. Also, two people just kind of keep a lookout. Mandatory mini camps start today. The Giants started today. A couple of other teams started today. So it's almost football season, which me and Jeff love the most. I cannot wait, Jeff. So I was excited to hear that. But the big news, of course, coming from the Shield, as I stated, Julio Jones going over to the Titans for a second and a fourth-round pick. Also, too, the Titans are going to pick up his payment, his money. He's going to get, I think he's due $15.3 million this year. They're going to take a cap hit. I think they said $23 million a cap hit for the Titans, but they said they're going to look to have Tannehill kind of adjust his contract to where it could put money back into what it is they're trying to do. Oh, man, Jeff, this move right here makes them a legit Super Bowl like contender. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They got the offense. They got two physical receivers, and they have a physical back. I mean, Jeff, they're built like Mike Tyson, man. They are ready to go the way they look right now. What say you, sir?
I don't know about that. What was the receiver they just lost?
I think it was Corey Davis, right? Am I right?
Okay. Yeah. So
I think
Corey Davis put up good numbers. He's not Julio, but they already have the young fella there. It's just, I mean, you have an upgrade over your last receiver, but what are you going to do? Change your offense? It's still going to be run heavy. I don't know if it like, you know me, man. I'm not real big with these wide receivers making all this money. It doesn't lead to championship. It doesn't correspond to anything, and it's proven over the last 20 years. None of these guys have brought a championship. So I don't know if it changes. It makes it funner for fantasy, stuff like that. But on the gridiron and the real field, and I'm not a believer in Tannehill. Never have been. Never will be probably. So I don't know how much. I mean, obviously, yeah, Julio, yeah, but it's a nice toy. But I don't know if it makes you that much better to get you over the hump. It's not like they were fourth and goal and they got stopped on the 2-yard line last year in the AFC Championship game versus the Chiefs. So I don't know how much better it makes them, in my opinion, just overall, like your team. Of course, adding a good piece helps, but I don't think it makes you better at a top-tier wide receiver that you got to pay more money to. 32 injury, had an injury history. I don't know. I don't really think it makes you that much better.
Hey, listen, well said, sir. Hey, listen, I want to argue with you on that point, but listen, man, you're right. I mean, you nailed it. I mean, I think they're a contender, but listen, you have valid points. Listen, the top three receivers about 4 or 5 years ago are all gone. He was the last one, right? You had Julio. You had, of course, your boy out there in Pittsburgh, who just can't seem to stay out of trouble. He's down in Tampa Bay. Also, too, you had Odell. So, people, sorry, people. If you don't know what we're talking about Antonio Brown. I'm sorry. So those are the three top receivers in the league. They were legitimately the best players in the league at their positions. Three of the best. They're all gone. I mean, so to prove your point, Jeff, you're right. I want to argue you, but you're right. So those guys, teams have made decisions to say, listen, man, we're not going to pay these guys these Ferraris, right? These high top prices anymore, because we're realizing that, you have to build from the inside out. That's how it should go, not from the outside in. That's just phrase Jeff always uses, and he's absolutely right. I just think, for me, I think the Titans are solid, and I think that they are going to make adjustments with Julio because you're going to have to give him the ball. He's such an explosive player that he has to touch it. He has to pretty much be in line with the offense because you realize you have a new fresh toy out there, so you got to use it. The key is going to be, I haven't taken a look, but I want to see what their schedule looks like. That's going to be the key. And, of course, injury. And a big part, too, is like you said, Jeff, he's 31, 32 years old. So he has maybe a year or two left. They took on a big hit with his contract. So it's going to be very exciting. I really think that what it's going to really do is going to open up A.J. Brown. That's going to really give him a lot more one-on-one coverages because, they're going to have somebody over the top for Julio. They're going to do that. They're going to ship somebody over. They're just going. If they don't, they're crazy, right? So most defenses are going to do that. So it should be exciting. It should be exciting. But one thing, like I said, what's their schedule look like, and on top of that, injuries. How does that play? Because once one guy goes down, you know how that goes. Then your record goes from easily being 12-4, Jeff, to 9-7 or 8-8. I mean, that's just the way the league is. But I think it's exciting. I think the fantasy numbers is going to be great. And hopefully, I would like to see somebody challenge Mahomes, because I think Mahomes he's got all the juice, man. And I think last year was a fluke. And I think that he plays Brady again, and they give him some protection, he's gonna light them up. I just see it. I'm sorry to say, I think last year, Brady was just all lined up perfectly. But I just think Mahomes is the top of the league, man. You know what I mean? So I don't see nobody touching those guys for the next couple of years.
I agree with you on that. I think that hopefully it motivates. Made a lot of changes, a lot of trades in line. So they should. I mean, it's Chiefs, for sure.
Right. But hey, great show, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, people, thank you for coming by. We appreciate you guys. It's our quick hitter. We're gonna this probably be our time slot that we could probably be looking into doing. Once again, we're gonna try to get some guests on. That's definitely what we're gonna try to do. But like I said, me and Jeff are trying to do new things, man, with our show. But the NBA's playoffs is flaring up. It's getting closer and closer and closer. But oh man, I just can't wait. It's hot now. I'm loving the weather, but I just can't wait for football season, baby. I cannot wait.
I'll be here.
That's right. All right. But people, once again, hit that like, share, subscribe button, and please hit that bell notification to pretty much get updates on our show. All right. Hey, Jeff, man, thanks, man, for coming by, brother.
Yes, sir, man. Good seeing you again, bro.
You too, man. Take care.
Later.
Later.